How was this one of those jobs that was kind of always in the back of your mind as one you'd like to come back to in time?
I would have. There's probably only 2, maybe 3 jobs in the nation that I would have left Virginia Tech because Virginia Tech's so daggone special. Only 2 or 3, and obviously this was one of them. I mean, this is just. I mean, I went and toured the facilities this morning, and I'm like, wow. Right there's my recruiting pitch for anybody that's in high school that might want to come to Virginia Tech. I mean, at Iowa State. I don't think I can get in trouble for that. I'll ask Ed Bannock if there's a violation there, but I think I can say the facilities are wow, and the commitment and everything I've seen is just super impressive.
Coach, can you outline what you can do or will do between now and the NCAA tournament?
I will be obviously recruiting a lot, traveling to some, a lot of state tournaments are going to be going on the next couple of weeks. So obviously I'm excited to get a chance to talk to the team. They've got they got a job to do with the Big 12s and the NCAAs. I'm not going to step on toes there. They've got relationships built with athletes, so I think the worst thing I can do is come in and try to confuse or try to get people doing different things right now. So I'm just going to mostly be recruiting and definitely reaching out and doing some alumni relations. Tonight we're going to be at what's it called, the district in Ankeny. So we're going to have a social for all you Iowa State people that want to start signing up for this new thing.
How do you continue to build the brand so you can win the recruiting battle for the in-state best wrestlers?
I like to talk, so I think we got a shot. I don't know. I think we got a shot. We just want to bring the best postgraduate guys we can in here to train in Ames, and that's a simple formula. We've got to be able to afford them, and it's somewhat of an arms race anymore, but we need to have the best guys in here training so they get the benefit of our athletes and we get the benefit of them, and Ames, Iowa gets the reputation of being a not Colorado Springs, but maybe the next best place to shop or train.
When you took over at Tech, they were coming off a 1-win dual season. Same situation here. Are those situations comparable in your view, or how do you view maybe what that situation was like versus what you're walking into here?
That situation was much different, much more difficult. The previous administration took all the guys, wink, wink. The current coaching staff here has put together 2 unbelievable recruiting classes, so I'm blessed in that respect, and that's hats off to the Paulsons and Angel and Coach Jackson, because they've obviously know how to recruit, and that just shows you the power of recruiting, to Iowa State, because they've had a little tough time a little bit every now and then, and they're still bringing in quality guys. So it says a lot about the character and the ability of them to sell this place.
Do you have any idea how your staff is going to take shape?
Staff-wise, I'm not going to make any moves, do anything until after the NCAA tournament. Obviously, I've got some people in mind, and I think you're going to see probably with college wrestling this year, it seems like it's a little bit cyclical, but there's going to be some jobs opening up from what I hear, and so it'll be the musical chairs for a while. So we'll see when the music stops and what seats are available and who's not sitting. And so I know that's running around the answer, and that was my intent.
You mentioned the recruits and not leaving the cupboard bare. I mean, you got guys like Kanan Stewart, Ian Parker in the wrestling room right now. How exciting is that to have a good foundation?
Darn exciting, really exciting. I've obviously watched those guys, especially, in the last 10 or 11 days more so, when this was going to maybe be a reality. So, it's pretty exciting to see some of the young guys, and I got a chance to meet with some of the coaches this morning, and they're obviously really high on some of the names that you mentioned.
Do you have a timetable on the regional training center and kind of what you're looking for there?
Tomorrow, yeah. We're going to start getting after it here soon. We got to do it the right way and get a 501c3 put together and all sorts of stuff like that. But I'm going to get going on that as soon as we can.
I talked to Dan Gable yesterday, and he said one of your biggest strengths was being kind of like a company CEO, and Jamie mentioned that too, just during his opening statement. What do you think your best strength is, your biggest strength is as a coach? Is it being that CEO type, or what do you see as from yourself?
Well, I'm too old to wrestle anymore, so you can throw that one out the window. But I just think I've really made good choices by surrounding myself with good people. I think if that's one thing and so if that's CEO-ish, then that's probably what it is. But I've always, when I was first a young coach, I kind of tried to do everything myself, everything. And as I've gotten older, I've realized the importance of hiring good people and people that are better than you in areas. And so, the people that I'm going to hire for the jobs that I need are going to be better than me. I can tell you that. And so I think that's been something I learned somewhere along the way that's important.
Coach, what's the pitch to the kids that have asked out of their letters of intent from this current recruiting class?
I've been on the phone the last couple nights with I think all 7 of them, and 5 are rock solid Cyclones. I think one's probably on the fence, and I'm going to try to go push him off the fence in a couple days. And then there's one more that we're probably not going to have, and I don't know if I should mention any names right now, but so that's pretty good. So, 5/6 out of 7.
Kind of two-part question. Before the courting process, what was your impression of Iowa State's dedication to the wrestling program? And then after the pitch, what was your impression?
We wrestled out here 4 or 5 years ago, and the facility was really nice. And then they've just recently, in the last couple of years, updated the facilities in terms of locker rooms and their wrestling rooms. Beautiful facilities. Is probably, from where I've been, one of the top 3 facilities in the nation. We've wrestled just about everywhere. I believe that. So I obviously didn't pay much attention to it. I didn't even know Iowa State was on the horizon. So after Jamie and his crew flew out to Virginia, I kind of did a little more research on the internet and saw just how nice they were.
Coach, how important was the job and its site where we are today in Ames, Iowa, and its proximity to your mother, to Humboldt, and where you grew up?
Very, very important. Like I said, I only take a couple jobs, and there's obviously some good jobs in the country, but just because of where this sits, it obviously intrigued me right away. Just getting back here and being around my brother and being around his family, we haven't got to do that much, and so my kids, they get kind of a 1-year grace period to transition in here, and I know that once they get here, they'll be excited, but I do appreciate them. This is a leap of faith on their part, and Jamie did a really good job in hooking them up with a lot of swag on the airplane ride here yesterday, so he's working it. So together we might get them all here sooner than later.
You were a successful prep coach, and then you've had a lot of success recruiting in Virginia, Pennsylvania, New Jersey. Do you plan to keep that as a major recruiting territory going forward?
Absolutely. I think just, obviously it's further away mileage-wise and as the crow flies, but one of the best things I had going into being a college coach was, as I always say, I spent 18 years in high school hospitality rooms. And high school wrestling coaches like to eat a lot, so you build a lot of relationships over those 18 years. So I spent a lot of time around high school coaches. So I really have a pretty good network of high school coaches in Pennsylvania and Ohio, New Jersey, and those are great wrestling states. So I'm excited to get those kids out here looking.
How much do you have to try to sell Iowa State wrestling to fans again?
I don't think so with the tradition of everything here right now, and hopefully we got a little bit of a buzz going. I think that this place is dynamite. I mean, I just know the tradition and the history. I mean, I've watched Iowa State wrestling since 1970, pretty dang regularly. Even when I was a Hawkeye, you never take your eye off the enemy, and that was the enemy back then. And there was a guy that used to wrestle here named Joe Gibbons that was pretty good, that used to beat me up pretty regularly. So I was always well aware of Iowa State. Thanks for coming out, y'all.